So in all stages of life, exercise and healthy lifestyles are ever so important. This is especially true when we transition, as this is effectively puberty, the sequel, right? So if we're not supporting our body, then that is probably not ideal. We're a growing body in many new ways. So we want to make sure that we keep in nice shape. So as a disclaimer, this video is not about weight. There's a bit of a myth that health equals weight. That's not the case. We're instead going to focus on a lifestyle, diet, sleep, that kind of thing, rather than anything about weight, BMI, and all that stuff. Also, apparently the food pyramid's complete nonsense, so we'll talk about how to eat good too. So I hope you enjoy my little guide on how to healthy lifestyle good. Let's do our best. So like puberty the first time, when you take HRT, the body fat in your body actually redistributes, but it doesn't like go away, right? Like it like moves. So for example, for trans women, instead of it being more towards the stomach, it might move towards your hips, your breasts, that kind of thing, as they grow. However, when this occurs, we still need to make sure we eat enough food to keep our energy up, and also just to promote that growth, right? So my big tip is you can still eat. I know it's easier said than done for some people. So I won't undermine that experience, but the thing to keep in mind is to still try to eat a good amount of food. Eating less does not equal healthy. It's a bit of a myth perpetuated by media. If anything, if you don't eat enough, that's bad for the body. If you eat too much, that's bad for the body. So it's just a balancing act. So instead of changing how much you eat, usually the best approach is changing what you eat. So at least for me, I try to add like little bits of veggies and like stuff next to the meals I already have. So if I'm having like some chicken or something, I make sure there's like some spinach or like some tomatoes or that kind of thing. Just a subtle little thing just to make what we're eating just a bit nicer for our body. We don't have to do anything dramatic. Chances are, if you're watching this, you're probably not training to become a professional athlete, so you don't need professional dietitian advice. That said, it's always good to have that. Just bear in mind, I'm not that. So my tip with that is just to have a bit of food. It's okay to have a bit of food. And treats are important too. I know this channel's very stay hydrated and that kind of thing as the catchphrase. However, we still need to have treats here and there, right? Just because I talk about drinking water so much doesn't mean we only drink water, right? Many people like all sorts of things. I, for example, like to have a milkshake as a treat. Milkshakes make me feel pretty good. So that's my little treat here and there. And with food, it's okay to have little treats. I have like lots of ice cream. That's fine. Just be sure to eat relative to the fitness, right? And like what you're doing in your lifestyle, which is the next section. But last point on food is just be sure you eat relative to your lifestyle. You wouldn't want to under or overeat when you're doing essential growth in puberty too. Up next, it's the fitness part, it's the health part, it's the going out and doing things part. This isn't me telling you to sign up for an overpriced gym membership and just hoping and praying that that does something. No, if you don't enjoy what you're doing, it won't be very fun. For me, I like to do a lot of dancing and that kind of stuff for my fitness, or like going for walks. Even really passive stuff like mini golf or going bowling can be really helpful. So honestly, just do what you actually like doing. If you don't do what you actually enjoy, you're probably not going to do it. I know there's like a no pain, no gain kind of mentality in fitness, but that's probably to sell gym memberships. So honestly, just do what you find fun. Even if you go for a little walk for like 10 minutes, you're all good. I think like the recommendation I see pop up a lot is 30 minutes on your feet moving around in the day. If you do that, you're more than fine. I promise you. Another thing to keep in mind, from trans women to trans men, hey, here's what's gonna go down, okay? Whether you take estrogen or testosterone will affect your ability to do fitness, okay? For trans guys, you're gonna have a great time. You're gonna notice you're probably able to go a bit harder when doing certain fitness. It'll be a bit weird at first, but generally you'll have more energy in that respect, which is good. As for trans women, so here's the thing. You might notice that sports usually divide people by gender What they're actually dividing people by is the dominant sex hormone, which in our case with HRT becomes estrogen. Estrogen is like a different baseline level, right? So for example, without any training, chances are people with mostly estrogen will perform worse than someone that's predominantly testosterone. Now that becomes different when people exercise and like train their body, right? It's just your starting point's different. So it takes a bit more effort for people with predominantly estrogen to perform at a higher level than other people with testosterone that train just as hard as you. That's why sports divided the way it is. It's not a matter of a sex being better. It's just a hormone gives you a different starting point. So it's just more fair and lets more people with estrogen as the dominant hormone to still have sport careers. And we get to see more women just be amazing in sport events. Particularly, I love watching Olympics. The breaking event was so fun. Oh my God. And the skateboarding was super cool to see too. And badminton. I had a good time. But point is, your starting point will be different. I know everyone's like, trans people in sports. Okay, here's the thing. Okay. If you took advantage of the fact you had testosterone in the body before to get to a certain level, just bear in mind when you start estrogen, you'll be like a little lower in performance. Now, whether this is an advantage or not, kind of negligible, really. Like, yeah, technically, if you had testosterone and got to an elite athlete level, then took estrogen, maybe it'd be a bit easier, but the average results of athletes don't support that. It's worth stating that various people that start estrogen and still compete with people on testosterone, well, they get knocked out of the competition very quickly. And you might notice, no trans women have won an Olympic gold medal. At least yet. Though I believe a trans guy did on a soccer match, I think. I need to check that. But so, yay trans men. But as far as trans women go, no, we don't tend to wreak havoc in sport. Because our little bump in advantage is a bit negligible when you consider the sheer mental weight of transition and how that could disrupt an athlete's career. So just keep in mind, relevant to us that aren't athletes, this is your baseline, right? If you take estrogen, your baseline is going to go a little lower. However, you can exceed where you used to be if you train, right? I was worried I wouldn't be able to dance as much because I'd be on estrogen and I'd have less energy. I can dance way longer than I could before taking estrogen, but that's just because I practiced and trained and that kind of thing. And for trans guys, you might find it a bit easier, but at the end of the day, you still got to practice to maintain your peak, right? So it's very negligible. It is a thing, don't get me wrong, but I just want to add that little aside because realistically, it's very hotly debated and that's not what this channel's for. However, just keep in mind for your own personal fitness goals, it may affect your progress, so don't be too discouraged if the way you can do things is a bit different. You'll adjust, you'll adapt, especially the first few months, you'll be a bit everywhere, but you'll adapt. So just don't give up, okay? To bring those 2 points from earlier together, just keep in mind that the more you exercise, the more food you need. Ironic, I know. Another thing to keep in mind is the more you exercise, the more you need to eat. There's an example a while ago when the Olympics in Paris were on and the Olympic Village ran out of food because they underestimated how much elite class athletes consume. They eat a lot of food, you don't understand. So if even Olympic athletes can enjoy the Paris Olympic Village muffin, which is apparently a muffin from the literal gods or something, because every athlete has a TikTok telling you it was the best muffin ever. So it must have been a good muffin. So just remember to get plenty of exercise, but also bear in mind you probably need more food. Another thing related to food that I probably should have put earlier. So here's the deal, trans women watching. So here's the thing. You know those things, periods? Yeah, I hate to break the news to you, but we get them too. And as a part of periods, so one of the effects you might experience is food cravings. For example, chocolate can suddenly be as addictive as crack. Another thing is your time of the month. Now, tracking your time of the month is very difficult, and I'll make a period video, but essentially what you need to know is there'll be a certain period through the month where you will be a lot hungrier than usual. Don't take this as a sign to eat less, okay? When you get cravings, it's because your body needs it, okay? Now, like, don't go crazy and become a competitive food eater that week, but just keep in mind, you have to make sure that you eat a good amount. Your body needs it, I promise you. It's just doing its thing. Give it the energy it needs, you'll be fine. Another relevant thing, sometimes periods can make you a bit sleepy, which may make it harder to exercise. Just keep that in mind, and if you can't exercise too much one day, you can do it another day, it's fine. From what I've been taught, if you skip one day of the exercise routine, that does nothing to your progress. If you skip 2 days, that does a little bit to your progress. If you skip a week, you have kind of lost the momentum, so to speak. That said, find a routine that works for you, stick to it, and try your best. The hardest will ever be is the first time you try to do a physical activity. You know, unless you're trying to be a world-class Olympic athlete, which would require a lot more information than what I'm giving you here. We talked about food, we talked about exercise. You know what else we kind of need? Sleep. Your body needs sleep, okay? So everyone needs a different amount of sleep. There's like a myth that you have to get a specific amount. Just get whatever amount of sleep makes you feel good. Okay? Whatever amount of sleep makes you feel good. You don't have to optimize and get the perfect 8 hours of deep sleep or whatever. Just do what feels right for you. For me, for example, I tend to sleep at about 8 p.m. and then I wake up at like 4, but that's because I'm insane. So honestly, do what you want to do. It doesn't matter really how much or little you sleep, as long as you feel energized for the activities you do. There might be some days you sleep more because you're doing more. That's fine. That's chill. I'm sure after Olympic athletes got back from Paris, they went into a food coma in their hotel room. Another tip I'll mention, because this is about healthy lifestyle, not unhealthy lifestyle, just be sure not to overdo it. After you watch a video like this, don't suddenly run like 100 kilometers somehow. Take it slow, take it gradual. And also, don't give up the fun things you also do that isn't particularly fitnessy. If you like sitting and playing games with your friends, keep doing that. I do that. I'll hop on Discord and play Final Fantasy 14 with my friends for a couple of hours. That's chill, that's fine. But I also like to do badminton or like dancing. It's about balance. You don't have to be on the grind and quit all unessential things. No, that's ridiculous. And a really boring way to live, low-key. Just do what you like doing. I like going and like painting, I like playing guitar, that kind of thing. These things don't necessarily boost my body's health or whatever, but life isn't a stat screen. You gotta just do what makes you happy, and a good way to balance that is your body does get a nice boost of serotonin, which is just the thing that makes you feel good. If you go out and do a little bit of fitness, just a bit of balance. I know that I don't know the specifics of how this works, but I swear whenever I stay in the same spot for too long, time feels different. Like I don't know the specifics, but if I'm in the same spot all day, it's harder to remember everything that happened that day. But if I'm moving around and doing all sorts of stuff, the day feels longer and more fulfilling, for me at least. Lovely audience, I hope you enjoyed this little video about exercise, sleep, and healthy eating. I hope this video was done well. I know it's a bit of a tricky topic, and I wanted to do it sensibly. And I feel pretty happy overall of how I did it. So I hope you enjoyed this insight, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want more trans content, be sure to hit the funny subscribe button, hit the bell really hard. It could be good exercise, who knows? And let me know what you think in the comments, because I like reading comments. Seeing the number go up is cool and all, but I like seeing what the video means to people. And if you have certain types of videos you'd like to see, let me know. But until then, I guess I'm gonna go relax now, because I've been standing on my feet for a while. So I'm going to go relax and probably dance later, to be honest. So yeah, eat what feels good. Be sure to have a nice balance of types of food. Exercise the amount that feels good for you. And of course, be sure to get some sleep. And finally, stay hydrated and know that you are valid. I shall now dramatically walk to the right of your screen.